here's one way that you can use to increase LTV. Now, the client has to have a very specific tool, and that tool is called, so some learnings after spending 1.1 million, making 4 million since January 2021, is that you will never stop seasonality, period. But I've learned some ways to roll into it and roll out of it effectively. Don't target the Black Friday Cyber Monday shoppers, because that's a permanent fixture of everyone's personality back at when it's November.
Just one man with a keyboard and a lust for Google Ads.
Moving on. So here's one hack that I found that works well for increasing LTV. So this will be, if everyone can go back on mute if you can, because I heard some background noise, and this way it doesn't show your camera when we record this and put it on YouTube. So let me do this. This is gonna have to be blurred, so I'm so sorry for who is gonna have to get stuck doing that. But here's one way that you can use to increase LTV. Now, the client has to have a very specific tool, and that tool is called By the Numbers. It's $12, and they do have a free model, but it is $12 to use it the way I'm going to share with you all on how to use this. So in this By the Numbers app, there's something that is pre-segmented out for you, and it's your best to your worst customer. And they actually drop them in a big list that is miraculously exportable and importable right into Google Ads. So the cool part about this is I see that, so here's some good thing that's going on. Remember this client that I was telling you about? This is that company that sold a bunch of masks. Now our average order value is still increasing after 90 days. Sales are up, everything's yippee skippy, everything's good. Cool. The good first time sales, really good returning sales. This actually used to be 4.4 and 1.5 using this model across all platforms. It's now 4.5 up 100,000 and 1.8 up 300,000. So we've increased the amount of returning customers in our LTV by using this in especially on Facebook. I know this is going to be bad. Maybe just cut this part out of the video. But Facebook, we're running something called a retention model with cost cap. We actually use these audiences on Facebook with the cost cap, which is basically a TCPA or TROAS for these audience called retention. We spend a little bit of money on them, but it keeps them coming back. So you can do the same thing in Google though. I just add these to the asset groups. So inside of here, you go into your segments. And in your segments, it says, here's all of the customers, how frequently they purchase and their average order value, and how much each customer is worth. Like, I love this. This is beautiful. And you'll see that your loyalty customers are 489 days old in their lifespan, which means these people continually make purchases at 8 times a frequency of each person, $32 average order value, which means these customers are worth $263. And oh, by the way, there's 9,431 of them. Awesome. I'm probably going to incentivize these people to continue to buy with maybe a discount code, maybe some bundles. I don't want to necessarily just throw profitability out of engaged audience, but if there's an at-risk audience, which is like the one right above that, which means, hey, these people buy 1.5 times on average. They usually are with you for 3 months. They spend $50 as their customer value, and there's 401,000 of them. This works obviously for big clients, but if you have a client that has like 10 to 12,000 customers in their lifetime on Shopify, you might find 2,000 or 3,000 people that you can bring back and increase that LTV and AOV. And they're cheap because it's a less CPC and this audience is captive. So it's not something that we're going to have to expand out of. I wouldn't use performance max for this. You can, but I wouldn't. I would actually use more YouTube and more top of funnel type of platforms. Discovery does work well. YouTube works well. Display works well. Anything works well now because I'm not going into the ether, which is Google's algorithmic targeting to apps and kids games. It's an actual person. So just throw the kitchen sink at them. You know you're going to capture the person you're looking for. So that's what's really cool about this is you can actually take the people that have last purchased in the 6 to 12 months ago and will likely churn unless you're engaged. Like, thank you. Like this app literally told me what to do with these people. That's a really, really great way to increase LTV is to take existing customers that have purchased that are going to churn and get them back in. Jasper, I think it was you and I that did this for the honey company, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we used By the Numbers to try and get their ROAS to like a 2 point because they were stuck at a 1 for months. It's actually been around a 1.8 for a while now. They're pretty happy.
Yeah, so it probably brought the ROAS maybe up by like 30%. So I told him, hey, it's going to take time because it needs to be a self-fulfilling audience and they're just small. So this was a one-off client that was really tiny, that barely had enough money to pay for the ad spend. It increased their ROAS by probably some big multiple and probably increase their LTV if we're keeping engaging these people. So I just said, hey, just hang tight. Let's just wait, give it 6 months and we'll re-engage. And now, like Jess was saying, it's getting better, which is good. Now throw gasoline on this fire, like a person that spends $10,000 a month rather than $1,000, and we're in really good shape. Would you run a slow burn remarketing campaign for this across all mediums on a very low spend for LTV? I feel like a lot of this we capture via email marketing, but for larger clients makes sense. Yeah. And that's what's saying. Either even YouTube, because we're going to pay like one, maybe even a sub penny per view. I've seen this actually produce a 0.008, which means 0.8 of a penny per view. So as nice as it's really low competitive because it's our own list. So do a slow burn campaign, $5 a day, and remarketing on YouTube will probably cover like 10,000 people. So yeah, you can run really slow, really low spends to these people just to keep re-engaging them all the time and turn them into Nike customers that buy 27 pairs of shoes during their lifetime. Which means if you can do this well though too, your ROAS targets are lower. Man, my cost of acquiring a new customer is break even, spend to the moon. What does that mean? It's a 104 ROAS. Just keep spending. These people never leave me. Awesome. Like that puts us in a much better position. Cool. We got 20 minutes left. What was the next topic?
Seasonality campaigns and once a year promos. Can you hear me, John?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking.
Sorry. No. I thought it glitched.
No, I hear you
loud and clear.
Oh, nice.
So seasonality campaigns. I'm trying to think of one I have. Yes, here we go.
This is not a glitch. I'm interrupting the video you're watching because I need to remind you that I'm always looking for people to join our team. So if you're passionate about Google Ads and you want to work with the best Google Ads agency on the planet, please go to so8.com/apply. Speaking of working with the best Google Ads agency on the planet, if you're having trouble with Google Ads and you want professional help, that's what we do. You can go to so8.com, that's SOL8.com, to apply for your free, no obligation action plan. And if I've given you any level of value at all, maybe think about giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. That's how we juice the YouTube algorithm so they actually know that I know what I'm talking about. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or confessions, hit me below in the comments. And now, back to your regularly scheduled program.
And I'm going to get rid of all of these for speed. Yes. Can everyone hear me better? I mean, without being held right up to my face, is it better sounding? Okay, good. Hopefully this is less echoey. I'm in a big hollow room though, so I think I need to get what Caden has, is those foam pads on the wall. I need those. We have a chat. Chat says, I like it when it's closer, more dramatic.
For the dramatic effect.
I should do the movie voice.
One man.
You should do that voice for the intros that Jack and Joanne are putting together, make it even more dramatic.
Right?
Yeah.
It's funny. All slows.
Just one man with a keyboard and a lust for Google Ads.
So this month. So here, check this out. This is all the way since January of 2021. And what you're going to notice is it's wee. Oh no, wee. We're on a roller coaster. Change screen. Where am I at?
Yeah, we were looking at your calendar.
That's awesome. How's this? Is this better?
Yeah.
Cool. So there. So you see it goes up and then crashes, and then up and then starts to crash. And we're in the crash right now, essentially. So some learnings after spending 1.1 million, making 4 million since January 2021, is that you will never stop seasonality, period. But I've learned some ways to roll into it and roll out of it effectively. And that's actually using restricted bidding strategies or expansive bidding strategies at the right time. So what this means is that, and I'm just going to use these 4 campaigns. If I do the conversion value and then I'll do the cost here overlay that way, you'll see that the conversion value is 350 and the conversion value is 350. Same thing. The difference of spending 55 grand to 128,000 during the same time periods is they had a Shark Tank episode air right in the middle of their peak season, which is all of a sudden why the conversion value went from 66 to 247 in 1 month with a cost of $20,000 difference. This is not real. They had a Shark Tank episode and everyone's like, oh, cool. And then boom. I also was capturing brand traffic back then. So yeah, this isn't exactly real. But the learnings from this is that during this time period, I was running TCPA and I was constantly chasing my tail. I was trying to say like, well, what if I had $100 extra and the ROAS would go up like 400%? I'm like, well, what if I had $200 extra and the ROAS go up like another 100%? I'm like, oh God, I'm like, what if I had $2,000 extra? And it's like, boop. Now I was actually starting to spend the money. So in season was incoming, I was using a restricted bidding strategy. I was not smart. I pre-qualified all this brand new traffic that I probably lost because I was not spending enough. What with the learning I did here is I ran maximized conversions and maximized conversion value. I forget exactly which one I was running at the time, but an expansive bidding strategy all the way into when I knew this was going to happen. So my March, I made 66,000, where now in my March, I made 126, even without the Shark Tank episode. I doubled their March. Why? Well, I wasn't pre-qualifying traffic. So I was like, okay, I know this is going to happen. So what I did is I limited the amount of spend I spent to keep the ROAS in line. I did not use TCP. I did not use TROAS. I simply started to increase ad spend responsibly. I increased ad spend. ROAS went from 200, 300 to 400. Increased ad spend went from 300 to 400. Increased ad spend went to 300 to 400. So I lost ad spend, or I lost ROAS each time I did an increase. But since we're on an in season, it's going to continually get higher, and I'm spending into it effectively, which means I had a more valuable ramp up. It went from March, April, May, June of 50, 75, 115, 128, rather than 10, 30, 55. Oh, sorry, 66, 247, 350. So I was able to actually keep profitable longer during this time period. Now, what I also learned, though, is that by using a restricted bidding strategy, I ramped down too quickly. I had a 400 ROAS, and what this did is I was like, all right, I spent three grand a day at 400 ROAS, and it's like, can't make it. So I didn't actually decrease my cost here. I simply just had the T ROAS on it, and I let this thing bring itself down. For the most part, there's some ins and outs here of things that happen, but that's the general rule of thumb. I was just like, well, it's just going to spend less, but we're staying 400%. And it was T ROAS was simply just bringing my budget down with the traffic. In here, what I found out is if I don't do that, I can actually start to wean myself off of it by still using an expansive bidding strategy in a down market. Kind of sounds stupid, right? Be aggressive in a down market. But what I did is I found out that my July of making 271 was better than my July of making 209, even without a TV commercial. So I'm still making a really decent ROAS and the client's happy that I'm keeping sales, but I'm actually making more money than we were last year, where we didn't think that we were going to be able to even get close to the numbers of having a national TV campaign. So here's my learnings. TCPA, super profitable. You're not going to have a big month during your busy season. Maximize conversion value, maximize conversions by throttling the increasing of your ad spend. You will have a much bigger month. You might suffer a little bit of profitability because you're a little bit more reactive than having Google be predictive. So it's like, oh, fell below, got to crank down. Oh, fell below, got to crank down. But you are maximizing the amount of profit that you're actually making during that time period. So with in-season, out-of-season, what I've learned is that still the same thing that I've been trying to teach every Wednesday is that you can actually have a better conversion amount, frequency, and value by running wide open and simply not spending as much or spending more than you would with just letting Google do its thing, because you'll know more about the customers and Google will learn more about the customers if you don't let it pre-qualify. You just give it less customers to test on per day while saving ROAS. Any questions there? Hi.
Hi. We have a little student here. Apparently not in the chat, not from anywhere else. Now, can you explain like double a season or something like that?
Sorry, say what?
Let me read it out loud. It says twice a year promos. still seasonality campaigns, but twice a year, please.
Who made that question? I can talk about it. I don't know what else to talk about.
Yeah, that was me, and that's pretty much just like seasonality if there's something going on like externally. So like you have your, Black Friday promos, and then maybe you have like a summer sale. Is there like any difference on like the promo build out? Like, do you word it differently, or is that all just based off of like, the client and which season it is?
Gotcha. So what's really interesting is this is going to be dependent upon how much inbound traffic there actually will be. So you can run a sale, but if the market isn't reacting to a sale, like, hey, summertime hammocks, wintertime no hammocks. If you're saying like, I'm running a sale because it's summertime, but people don't care, that's going to be different. So for people that are like, hey, it's summer and I sell parkas, no one cares. No one's going to buy a parka during the summertime. You can run it for free. It's just people aren't going to want it because they have to pay for shipping for something they don't need. So market demand is going to dictate how you react. So is there a client that we're talking about that would say, hey, they actually sell more naturally during the summer, so when we run the sale, it's more effective, or are summer slow and we're trying to push a sale?
Not necessarily. It's more of, I guess, the difference between like the standard like general market sale of like everything's off on like Black Friday versus like their normal like, hey, this is like a good time for the product to be sold.
For Black Friday, Cyber Monday, what we're actually testing with this client now is using more top of funnel campaigns that are inexpensive without throwing out the overall account ROAS to warm up an audience to actually go at a higher Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale than the previous year. So we're using a lot of like coming soons. We're even gathering emails for a campaign that's going to go live on Kickstarter around that same time. So we're building hype, but building hype against your existing sales can be done by reinvesting your sales you're currently getting. So for example, if I have a 400% ROAS, I might take $100 a day out and put it to a, hey, here's what's going to be coming Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then leave that on a slow burn all the time, 1 month ahead of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so that people are going to be engaged. A strategy that we're going to try with this company here is by actually gathering in those email addresses, saying, hey, be the first to know, be the VIP, that kind of stuff. So we can actually use top of funnel to new traffic that we are now engaging rather than trying to extract other people that kind of already know about us. And we're just going to make a whole bunch of sales on that yet an existing customer base. That doesn't help growth. Growth only comes top and middle of funnel. So we're going to start to build hype, gather emails for the people to be in the know so that we do email blasts to all these new customers that we've paid $3, $4, $5 per email address, knowing that if I can get a $5 email, but my average order value is high, like what this client did actually is, my average order value is $323. I can afford a $5 email because if I can get 1 in 10, I'm profitable. So take into consideration what you would actually make on them before you start saying, hey, we spent 10 grand warming up, 9 grand worth of traffic. So not a good idea. So usually that slow burn is safe for a majority of clients. Starting 1 month ahead, get ready for some things like, here's an example, will be soon, be the first to know, but use, display if you wanted to. I can't stand display, but use display if you're good at it. And YouTube, if you can. Even YouTube, one thing that'd be kind of cool is using a YouTube video that's one of those pre-canned ones, making like 10 different products that are going to be going live on that Black Friday, Cyber Monday that are the best sellers, and say this will be 30% off. And then just keep showing those ads because you can build them without the client's input and use their tone, their logos, their colors, and start to warm up a traffic that's probably more of an interest-based audience inside of Google's targeting. Don't target the Black Friday, Cyber Monday shoppers because that's a permanent fixture of everyone's personality back at when it's November. So just know that you're trying to engage an audience based on who they are, either core audience by affinity or in market, and start to warm up that traffic. So when Black Friday, Cyber Monday does come, you can shoot a big email blast. You can crank up the ads on your bottom of the funnel sales. You can crank up remarketing because you've been driving traffic to the website already in hopes of that they're actually clicking, engaging, and saying, okay, I can't wait. And then change around your ad copy to be like, it's live. And then boom, blast it out top of funnel. That would be a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. Use that same model to even in summer. It's kind of like a pre-launch to a launch. That's just making sure we're not spending too much of the daily ad spend into that coffer, I guess, so that when it does actually does launch, you've already spent your profitability. Order value of this order was $50 and it cost us 45 to make that, then our cost per acquiring new customer is -5. Now, if the average order value is 50 and the CPA is 60, then our cost of acquiring that new customer is $10.